My 600-Pound Life is one of those shows which easily attracts people's attention, given the usually disheartening and complex stories of the people the show features. Nonetheless, while most of the patients who seek help from Dr. Nowzaradan, known as Dr. Now, weigh over 600 pounds, Julius Clark from Season 8 stood out from the rest for being one of the heaviest participants in the weight-losing program. The many challenges JT faced along the way left audiences teary, but his story was also endearing and inspiring for others. Unsurprisingly, those who were touched by his story wondered what happened to Julius after the show, and whether, in the end, he was able to overcome all the difficulties on his weight loss journey. So, what's with JT Clark these days? Here's an update on his whereabouts and what his path has led him to. Julius Clark, known as JT, had his story included in the show's 8th season, and was disheartening to watch, given all the physical and emotional challenges that he faced. Despite being one of the heaviest patients to be featured in the show, and the many struggles he dealt with, JT lost lots of weight in the program, and finished his episode on a hopeful tone, setting his next goal at losing even more weight to eventually get the lymphedema mass on his leg removed. Though JT has no official Facebook page for his fans, his public profile on the platform gives us a slight idea of his whereabouts. Though most of the photos shared by JT only show him upwards from the shoulders, the thinness of his face is a massive change from the time we last saw him in the show. While JT hasn't revealed the whole extent of his weight loss, in February 2023, he revealed that he was getting his lymphedema removed in Houston, though no further details about it were revealed. It's not out of fashion for JT to keep most of his personal matters secret, even on social media. But there's nothing else for us other than to wish that he could achieve all his goals and have a healthy life. JT started the program weighing 892 pounds, over 400 kilograms, the biggest person of his season and the second heaviest in this show's history up to that point. Besides the dangerous weight he'd gained, JT's situation was critical due to the 100-pound lymphedema mass on his leg, which impeded his walking, and was a big worry for Dr. Now. According to the then 32-year-old JT, previous doctors hadn't given him a life expectancy past his 31st birthday, so he was running against time to save his life. JT's progress throughout his journey was noticeable, losing enough weight to undergo gastric sleeve surgery. Right at the end of his episode, JT weighed 490 pounds, losing a total of 400 pounds during the program. But he was still far behind his final goal. He still needed to get past the 450-pound mark to have his lymphedema removed. But it's fair to assume that he eventually achieved that goal, given his latest updates about the surgery. It's unclear how much JT might be weighing now, or whether he's already achieved his desired weight goal, but his journey was inspiring to say the least. The last time we saw JT in My 600-Pound Life, he was hopeful for the future, which was a clear contrast to his situation at the start of his episode. As JT recalled, his obesity was the result of several issues he'd been dealing with since childhood. Growing up in a financially limited household, JT and his siblings developed their dietary habits from eating for free at their father's job in a fast food restaurant. The situation for JT was different from his younger two sisters and brother, as being the oldest added another layer of responsibility in a household where the parents were almost always absent, and who put more money into their hard drug addiction than on their children, leaving them to fend for themselves. During his teens, JT dealt with the burden of his unbalanced family by having several jobs to help himself and his siblings, eventually landing a spot at a pizza restaurant, where he could eat several pizzas a day from the time he was 19 years old. Before even that, he'd already gained massive weight, hitting the 300-pound mark by the time he was 13 years old. JT's situation only worsened, and by the time he turned 25 years old, his lymphedema and his obesity meant that he was unable to work. By the time JT arrived at Dr. Now's office, he had been dealing with deep emotional issues as well as food addiction. According to JT, his depression was a result of his parents' abandonment, isolation from people his own age, and the stress of dealing with difficult job schedules from an early age, leaving him with no escape but to embrace food in large quantities. The situation didn't improve over the next few years, and JT was given a very hopeless life expectancy. Until in 2019, he found the will to visit Dr. Now and enroll into his program for a chance to change and to save his life. At the time, he was 32 years old, didn't know how much he weighed, and was almost bedridden, but still had lots of dreams of traveling the world and having a family of his own, with his then girlfriend Jessica. It wasn't an easy road for JT though, as he was hospitalized with food poisoning and complications with his lymphedema mass. He spent the first months of his treatment in Houston dealing with back and forth progress in his weight loss journey and the emotional distress of his breakup from Jessica. An emotional talk with Dr. Now served to put his priorities in order and fight to recover his health, slowly but surely moving him closer than ever to his goal by the end of his episode. While JT was one of the heaviest patients to be treated by Dr. Now in my 600-pound life, he wasn't the heaviest one. That spot is for Samantha Mason, who weighed over 940 pounds at the start of her journey and dealt with several other health problems related to it. Despite the hard road she had ahead, Samantha also became the person who lost the most weight in the show, finishing her episode at 487 pounds. The second heaviest patient in my 600-pound life was Sean Milliken, who appeared in the show weighing 919 pounds at 26 years old. The earliest months of his treatment saw him actually gaining weight instead of losing it, hitting over the 1,000-pound mark during the first phase. Sean was admitted to a rehab center where he lost hundreds of pounds, yet he still gained more weight when he returned home. Despite entering therapy alongside his mother, Sean's journey went back and forth over the next couple of years. By his third year of treatment, he had lost over 450 pounds and been admitted to the rehab center several times by that point. In early 2019, sadly, Sean died at 29 years old from cardiac arrest, reminding us that, unlike JT's journey, other patients in my 600-pound life had very unfortunate and disheartening endings. Thank you for spending some time with us. Make sure to like and subscribe so you never miss another video. We also handpick these videos which we recommend you watch next. You can talk to us on all social medias or ask a question in the comments below. Thank you for being with us, and we'll see you back tomorrow.